Let's hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV on X as well as over on YouTube. If you guys can hit that like, hit that retweet button, I would greatly appreciate it. As we wind down the regular season here in the NHL, we've got games tomorrow, 6 games today. We will be live tomorrow at noon Eastern. And then we're going to be live every day that there is playoff hockey at noon Eastern, giving you all of those looks into those games. Also, check out the series bets that we're going to start looking at on Friday. Don't miss out on that as the playoffs do kick off on Saturday. But let's jump into these 6 games today. Of the 6 games today, we have one that really is so meaningful out there, and that will be the matchup between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. We're going to be looking at that one, circling that, but we will talk these other games as well out there on the ice and different things that we can look at. Now, as we go into these last games, we will start to look at players that are reaching those milestones, but those last games as well, the rest factor that we will see. So we'll have rest in some of these games for players. And I wanted to start the show off a little bit earlier today because of that rest factor. And because I do think we're going to see some movement in those lines as we get players announced. We're seeing a lot of movement in those lines already this morning, as we're seeing players listed as rested. So the Montreal Canadiens right now are a minus 111 underdog, minus 111 favorite now, minus 108 here for the Carolina Hurricanes. And this is rapidly flipping. They were a minus 110. Actually, they gone to minus 110 on either way. So definitely something you want to get your bets in firstly, looking at these games. So let's talk the Ducks and the Winnipeg Jets first. We know the Winnipeg Jets have clinched that first spot in the Central, also getting the President's Trophy. This team will face the St. Louis Blues in the playoffs. This is going to be a brutal grind-em-out matchup between those two teams. And I do think while we could see a couple overs to start, that series will turn into a lower scoring battle between elite goaltending out there. So we'll talk about that on Friday. Let's look at the Ducks' motivation here versus the Winnipeg Jets and what kind of motivation we're going to get out of the Winnipeg Jets. And like I said, you got to use caution days like this for games like this where you got to eliminate a team and they're on a back-to-back. They're coming off an overtime loss to the Minnesota Wild last night. And then you got a Winnipeg Jets team that's almost a $3 favorite. Total of 5.5 plus 106 to the under, minus 130 to the over. I'm going to look here at Husso, looking at his numbers in goal for the Ducks versus the Jets. They haven't been pretty. He's gone 1-1 in 2 games with a 4.06 goals against average and an 867 save percentage. It hasn't looked good at all. Now, I will look for the Ducks to hopefully be able to come out with a little bit of pride here in this game, last game for them of the season. And I do think they can come out strong and hit Connor Hellebuck to start this game. And then I think we see the lockdown. The last time these teams faced out back in January, we did see the Ducks win 4-3. And they've won the last 2 matchups. So the Ducks have played Winnipeg really hard. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 134. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 168. Now you can look at the Ducks on the money line. For a sprinkle, it's coming in as we see that line move plus 235. I did get it at plus 225 only a half an hour ago. So if we continue to see that line grow, I will continue to come back in on that for more plus money. Now, if you want to play it cautious and like we did yesterday versus the Wild, taking the Ducks plus the 1.5 did cash for us. It's plus 1.5 right now at minus 110. So great price there for a Ducks team that will be looking to play the full 60 minutes. I do expect Winnipeg to play strong to start this game. Another thing we could see is, this one be tied up or both teams at least scoring. Winnipeg maybe 2-1 first period. and then Winnipeg scoring a couple more in the second, and then the Ducks fighting their way back into the game in the third period. And at that point, you're going to get a great price on the Ducks plus 2.5. So something you would want to watch for. I'm not going to play any props in this one, you guys. I really do think we have to be super cautious today with our betting. So let's talk about the game that will come down to if Montreal has a chance in the wild card. So they're looking for that last wild card in the East. They need to pick up a point to be able to guarantee themselves that spot. If they don't pick up the point, Columbus will need to lose their next game, not pick up any points. So I do think Montreal has every ability to beat Carolina in this one. You got to wonder the motivation of Carolina and who's going to be playing. It's like Winnipeg. We don't know really who's going to be playing. I do think we're going to see a lot of announcements with line people out, or players out of the lineup. So looking at Montreal at minus 102, I do think it's a good price for them. Like I said, these lines are bouncing everywhere. We got a total of 5.5. minus 122 to the over. Sam Montague expected in goal tonight, and Chokekov here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Montreal, I think they get the win, but I don't think it comes easy. Montreal 3-2 style game. I would look at the under in this one. We know that the Carolina Hurricanes have been inconsistent out there on the road. This team's locked into the second spot in the Metro. They will be taking on the New Jersey Devils in the first round. There's nothing to play for this team. They're off that loss to the Leafs 4-1 on Sunday. You got to think a little bit of drive has to come out of them to at least start this game and look to play that spoiler for Montreal. But I don't think it's going to be enough versus a Montreal team that just is going to give it and put everything on the line. Now, I know it's scary to take an under in an elimination game because we could see goaltending pulled. So if you want to take an under, I recommend the first period under 1.5, as I do think this starts off that defensive battle. I'm going to take Nick Suzuki. And another problem with the lines right now, we're not getting a lot of player props. So I'm not going to give you guys a lot of player props. I'll recommend Nick Suzuki for the power play point tonight. But again, FanDuel isn't posting. Like, I've gone through all the games. I've hardly seen any player props. So if you can get Nick Suzuki for the power play point, I do think it's coming in. Again, Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield parlayed for a point together will get you great plus money. And then you got to wonder who's going to play for Carolina. Jackson Blake has been really strong for them as of late. 6 goals and 3 assists in his last 10 games. I do think we're going to see him out there on the ice. So you can circle him for his point tonight. So again, 5th in the Atlantic here for Montreal. They just need 1 point. Now, if they pick up that point and they do advance to the playoffs, tough matchup in the first round. They'll have the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals and Montreal. Montreal actually has a fighting chance versus the Capitals. The speed that they will bring to the ice will be hard for an older team like the Washington Capitals. The Caps would want to look to close that out. The longer that series goes, the better chance Montreal would have of taking it. And it would be the same thing for the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Washington Capitals, because we look at Columbus, we look at their offensive firepower that they've been able to create, especially on their home ice. And we will have the Capitals with home ice advantage, but you're going to see these teams with that speed, especially in round 1, with the speed of some of these teams like Colorado. They're going to look to come out. They're going to look to play in higher scoring games, tire out the defense on the other side. So give me Montreal here on that money line, and Nick Suzuki for the power play. Yeah, a little bit early today for sure. Thanks to the universe. I know you're wild making it through. I do love what we saw out of Marc-Andre Fleury. Him going into net for the overtime win there. It was great to see, and he is my favorite player. But your Minnesota Wild can be boring, but they still are able to win those games. So a lot better than my Calgary Flames, right? Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a great day to make some freaking money. Jordan Kyrou, yeah, he was able to get those 2 goals plus 1,100. I really hope some of you tailed Jordan Kyrou yesterday for those 2+ goals, getting us plus 1,100. Mitch Marner for point number 100. And you guys, I missed Austin Matthews for point number 400. So I hope some of you found that information. Sometimes some of these, like when you're searching for those, it's a lot to search for and find every single player. So it's okay. The Calgary Flames actually played so much stronger this season than I expected, and a lot of people expected. So seeing them close it out last night in such a strong fashion, even though they had known that they were eliminated by the time they went to overtime, it was great to see Calgary finish it off so nice and hard. Dylan Larkin for goal number 30 tonight, Holly. You know we got to go there with Dylan Larkin of the Red Wings. And yeah, your boring Wild did give you 4 to 5 more games this season. So congratulations on that. Let's talk the Detroit Red Wings and the New Jersey Devils. So the Detroit Red Wings are a minus 110 pick 'em price on the road versus the New Jersey Devils. Again, the Devils are locked into that third spot in the Metro. We'll face the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. What are we going to see out of the Devils in this one? Well, I think they need to build a bit of consistency out there, but that's going to be hard to do versus a Red Wings team that is playing for pride. They've got the playmakers on Detroit to be able to get the win here on the road in New Jersey when we know New Jersey's not going to play full out hockey. And I do think the Red Wings, there's nothing to lose by getting a win here. They're already eliminated. So I do think we get the best out of the Red Wings. Total 5.5 in this one. I have to take it to the over at minus 115, even though I know the Devils need to work on that defensive side of things, especially going into a matchup versus Carolina. I do think the Red Wings just have the playmakers to be able to come out nice and strong. Now, this line has moved. The Red Wings were a minus 120 favorite earlier this morning, so you're getting a better price now at minus 110 as money is coming in on the New Jersey Devils. I just look at the Devils and, while they would like to get the win, they got the win in their last game out. 5-4 versus Boston. So again, I think that defense needs to be worked on, but I just look at them. They can't get injured in this one. If the Red Wings come out with their speed and their ability to convert on that power play, and yes, we have an elite kill here for the Devils, but I don't think we get 100% out of the defense. We're going to see the conversion on the power play. We know it's a weak kill here for the Red Wings. So I do think we'll see the Devils practice that power play, get working on that power play out there to roll into that one versus Carolina. But I would look at the over. I'd look at the first period. The first period over 1.5 goals is minus 124. I'd stay up to both teams to score. I just don't know how much drive we're going to get out of Carolina, and Peter Mrazek might just have one of those nights. Either way, I think we go over 1.5 goals if it's one team scoring or both of them scoring. I do think the Red Wings is the right play. The Red Wings minus 1.5 on that puck line, as I do think the Devils just play a safe game out here. The Red Wings play for pride, and I do think there's something about a team that's eliminated beating a playoff team, right? It's something to say, well, if that team makes a run, we beat them in that last game of the season. We know we won't get the best effort out of the Devils. So give me the Red Wings on the puck line laying 1.5 goals. That's coming in at plus 205, you guys. You're going to, if you just look at your lines right now, because these lines are shifting so much, it says, on that front page, plus 1.5 and minus 280. You want to do the puck line, lay the 1.5 goals and get that plus money. 2-1 to your money. I would rather have that than anything else in this game. The last time these teams played, Carolina did get that 5-4 win. Now, I would look at Lucas Raymond. He is looking for point number 80. He's 2 points shy of 80. DeBrincat's 2 points shy of 70. Dylan Larkin for goal number 30, Hall, like you threw out. He has 68 points as well, so 2 points shy of 70. And Patrick Kane here, 2 points shy of 60. I think when we look at Lucas Raymond, DeBrincat, Larkin, and Kane, out of those 4 guys, we're going to see at least 3 of them hit 2+ points tonight. I do think this is a game where we see the Red Wings put 5 or 6 goals on the board on the Devils. So I will play all of these guys for their 2+ points for a little bit of money, just a sprinkle on each. You can do a combination of round robin combination of all 4 of them for their point parlay together. I do think is a great way to go. So this should be a fun one. Nico Hischier is leading the New Jersey Devils with 35 goals on the season. Head coach Sheldon Keefe admitted a few days ago that he'd be lying if he didn't say the most important thing was to finish the season healthy. He knows that he can't come out and have his playmakers injured out there. So expect him to use precaution going into this game and the Red Wings to get that big win and for these playmakers to be able to put those points up on the board. Very different from what we're seeing out of Pete DeBoer and what we'll see out of the Dallas Stars tonight. This is one of the favorites that I do think Pete DeBoer has said he plans to use the full roster tonight. That means Tyler Sequin might be back in the lineup for the Dallas Stars. So let's move on to that game there. The Dallas Stars are a minus 156 favorite, and there is no way that I can touch the Nashville Predators, even though they're a home dog, the last game of the season at home. I do think Dallas comes out looking to make a statement. They're going to be rolling into that game versus Colorado. And I tell you, they got their hands full with the Colorado Avalanche with their speed. We know Mikko Rantanen originally with Carolina to start the year, then transferred over to, Colorado, then transferred to Carolina, and now to the Dallas Stars. Will be looking to face Colorado and really step up in that matchup. But I think the speed is going to be insane because you look at Nathan McKinnon, you look at Martin Necas, and those two players, Martin Necas right below Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid for speed out there on the ice. So that ability in transition between Nathan McKinnon and Martin Necas, and then you throw Brock Nelson into the mix, is going to be insane. I do think Colorado can take it from the Dallas Stars if they take it quick. The longer that series goes on, the more depth we have for Dallas, and the longer Dallas has a chance of taking the series. It is crucial for Colorado to come out straight out of the gate, get those win after win after win. So I do think they have the ability to do so. And you got to look in the first round of the playoffs, those teams that have those speed, the speedy players, the speed under their skates, to be able to come out strong, because what happens as we go through the playoffs, those players start to tire as this season gets longer and longer and longer. So definitely something to watch for. But looking at the Dallas Stars tonight, we are going to see their stars hitting the ice. They're going to look to capitalize on the errors out there by the Nashville Predators. And we know that maybe they won't play a full 60 minutes. And we've seen the Stars in games like versus the Wild. I tell you, the Stars team really upsets me because they had a lead versus the Wild a couple of games back, and they allowed the Wild to get back on it. It was a Saturday or Sunday. I was live on the grid. You know, Calgary would be sitting in a different position here if it wasn't for the Dallas Stars losing that game. So looking here at Dallas, let's look for the first period. First period puck line for the Dallas Stars, laying a half goal at plus 152. I do expect them to come out so strong in that first period. I would even lay out lines. Now, there's still no player props. I wanted to see if Tyler Sequin will be listed in. Again, I'm not seeing player props today on FanDuel. They just don't want to give us anything. So this game has to be about Casey DeSmith, the Dallas Stars, playing a solid game. Now, Anuin in a net for the Predators. You can look at the Stars team total over 3.5. If you don't want to just look at the first period puck line, that's coming in at minus 104. So Pete DeBoer is going to get these guys into shape. That is for sure. I'm so glad, Lisa, you made some money last night. It is so great to see. I love hearing you guys making some money. Yeah, it's going to be a great first round. That is for sure. We've got such fun matchups out there on the ice. The playoffs are going to be great, Groovy Cavs. I'm so glad that you're in love with hockey as much as I am. So it's going to be good. Took a few days off. Yeah, I understand why you take a few days off. You got to use caution in these last couple of days in the NHL as well. But yeah, lots of value out there today. Let's move on to the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Vancouver Canucks. We got 2 games left. We got this one, and we got Edmonton versus the Sharks. Vegas last night lost in the shootout to the Calgary Flames. Calgary finished it off so strong, and I'm so proud of the players out there with how they finished off. So we got Vegas on the second night of a back-to-back facing Vancouver. Vancouver's a minus 105 underdog here at home, minus 114 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Total 5.5. Vegas, that was pretty impressive with how strong they played. They showed their depth last night. Mark Stone, Jack Eichel, Pietrangelo, Hanovan, none of them hit the ice, and Vegas still really pushed Calgary in that matchup. It's not released who will and won't be out on the ice as of yet, but I don't expect Hertl to play either. But here's the thing. If Thomas Hertl comes out for Vegas, you've got to try to find his player prop. Again, I can't get anything on FanDuel, so I can't give you the value on this, but 17 goals and 20 assists against the Vancouver Canucks for Thomas Hertl in 45 games played. So that's 37 points in 45 games versus Vancouver. This is a team he always steps up against. So look for Thomas Hertl to come out strong if he hits the ice. But otherwise, you guys, I don't think we will see really anyone coming out here for Vegas. Vegas first in the Pacific. So they are already locked in. We're not going to see that big push out of the Vegas Golden Knights to finish this off. They played that game last night. They will face the Minnesota Wild. So it will be interesting. Marc-Andre Fleury back in Vegas for that one. We'll see how much time he spends between the pipes in the playoffs, if any. But this game has to be about Vancouver for me. Vancouver hasn't won a single game against Vegas this season. Vegas has dominated them. But you guys, I just don't know how much we're going to see out of the Vegas Golden Knights. They need to stay healthy out there. The Canucks are 7-15-2 in all time against the Knights as well. The last time they beat them was April of last year. So they beat them in situations like this when Vegas has been rolling into playoff season, and Vancouver has more to play for, looking to beat the first team in the Pacific when they're the fifth in the Pacific. If you don't want to take Vancouver on the money line, which I understand why not, I think it's about the player props. Rumors are Brock Besser will not be returning to Vancouver next year. Not sure if he's retiring, not sure if he's just moving on, but the rumors are pretty loud out there that Brock Besser will be leaving this team. So looking at him, I'd look at him for 2+ points if you can get it for Brock Besser. We saw him in that last game and how strong he looked in that game versus the Sharks, that I do think we get another strong performance. He's got 50 points, 25 goals, 25 assists. 2+ points for him tonight should get you great plus money. And then you got to look at Quinn Hughes, and this is huge for Quinn Hughes. Not only is he loading for point number 77 tonight, he's got 16 goals and 60 assists on the season for that 76 points. He's looking for career goal number 60, you guys. Career goal number 60 would be huge for Quinn Hughes tonight, and I do think he has every ability to get it, but it's also point number 410. So if you want to look for him for the goal, for the point, I absolutely love it. 2+ points for Quinn Hughes tonight, I do think is in the making against a Vegas team that just won't be playing a lot of their playmakers out here. So big on Quinn Hughes. Bring up big on Brock Besser. Those would be the two players I would circle out there on the ice. So it should be a good one between these two. And then the last game, the Edmonton Oilers versus the San Jose Sharks. This is another game where we don't know who Edmonton's going to play. Everyone is listed day-to-day rested, but we know last minute we could see some of these players actually hitting the ice. It's Skinner versus Georgiev expected. We know the Sharks have lost their last 10. They've been absolutely struggling to finish the season. It would have to be the Sharks or no one for me, but I do think for the total, I just look at both teams to score in the first period. Look for the Sharks to come out nice and strong. Look to close this out great on their own home ice. I remember versus Calgary a couple of seasons ago, watching that last game when they were in Calgary to close it out and how strong they looked. So both teams to score in the first period at +144. The over 6.5 at -108. You're looking at Celebrini looking to finish out the season strong. 2+ points for Celebrini will put him at 65 points. Eklund has 54 points, so you know he's looking for 55. Toffoli, 54 points, so you know he's looking for 55. And Will Smith sitting right there at 45 points, 18 goals, and 27 assists. I'd look at Will Smith for a goal tonight. We rode with him for the goal in the last game. That didn't come. But yeah, no one really playing for Edmonton. You're going to get those depth players of Edmonton looking to make an impact in this one. Now, we did see Lane Hutson's brother play on the last game for Edmonton. I'm drawing a blank on his first name. It's not, I think it's Quinn Hudson. There's so many Quinns, you guys. So if I'm getting that wrong, I do think it's Quinn Hudson out here, but we have seen Edmonton pick up Lane Hutson's brother. So Lane Hudson with Montreal looking for the Calder for Rookie of the Year. His brother did join the Edmonton lineup on their last game out there versus the Kings. So look for him to be impactful in this game as well. If you can look for him for the goal on your books. Again, I'm just not seeing those player props out there today that I can bet. I would be looking at him to really step up as he looks to make a name for himself before they go into the postseason. So that is all the games today, you guys. Really some opportunities to get things done. Yeah, I think Hertl would sit out as well. If he plays, then play him. But if he doesn't play, yeah, it's going to be a good game for Vancouver. Okay, guys, let's get into that recap. I'll go over those favorite player points as well. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice today. Again, I appreciate you guys. You guys have been here with me all season long. We're going to continue the show during the playoffs. We will have videos. I'll actually do videos probably to post on Friday with my look ahead for the first round, what I'm thinking for those futures in each round. So look for those. Those will go up on X as well as YouTube. So the series bets, I definitely think is something we want to get into. If you guys don't want series bets, let me know, but I'm making them, so I might as well talk them with you. Recap time. The Anaheim Ducks versus the Winnipeg Jets. Again, we got to use caution today because a lot of these games are like this. One team eliminated, looking to play their last game of the season, versus a team that is already locked in to their spot. It's a hard place to bet. Between the Ducks and the Winnipeg Jets, look for the first period over 1.5 goals at -134. Both teams to score at +168. The Ducks +1.5 at -112 with a money line sprinkle close to +250 right now, as the Ducks have beat the Jets already twice this season. The Jets, I don't know who is playing in this lineup tonight. They have already clinched the first in the Central, clinched the President's Trophy. They've got the Blues in the first round. They can't get injured tonight. Look for the Ducks to bring it, even though they're on a second night of back-to-back. Should be a higher scoring game, though, as Ville Husso versus the Jets. Those numbers are not good. The Carolina Hurricanes versus the Montreal Canadiens. This game is so meaningful for Montreal. Picking up a point tonight guarantees Montreal a spot in the playoffs. They'll clinch that second wildcard spot in the East. Look for Montreal to win this in a low-scoring 3-2 style game. Give me Montreal straight up on the money line. Give me Nick Suzuki on the power play. And then Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield parlay together for a point. Lane Hudson as well for the point. I would look at him and Caulfield. If you really want someone from Carolina, Jackson Blake. He has got 6 goals and 3 assists in the past 10 games. The Detroit Red Wings and the New Jersey Devils. I'm looking for a big win out of the Detroit Red Wings. This is the 9th straight season that the Red Wings haven't made the playoffs, the longest drought in franchise history. It's crazy to think they didn't do it again. So this team went on a run of 25 straight seasons making the playoffs, then come against this drought. It's absolutely terrible for them. They'll be looking to finish this season out with pride against a New Jersey Devils team that their head coach has already said, Sheldon Keefe, that he just needs his players to roll into the playoffs healthy. That's all he cares about right now. So Red Wings money line -110. Those lines have moved. Puck line -1.5 at +205. With them now sitting as a slight underdog on the books. You got to do that alt puck line. Don't do the regular puck line. That's +1.5. We want to do the alt puck line, laying 1.5. Devils play this too cautiously, and we do see the Red Wings capitalize on that. The first period over 1.5 goals coming in at -124. Between all of the Red Wings players that I like here, I'm going to look at all of them for 2+ points, hoping to hit 3 of the 4. That is Lucas Raymond, 2+ points. That will put him at 80 on the season. DeBrincat, 2+ points, will put him at 70 on the season. Dylan Larkin for goal number 30 and the 2+ points will put him at 70 points and 30 goals. And he could get 31 as well if they both come via the goal. And then Patrick Kane, 2+ points, puts him at 60 points. If you really want someone for the Devils, just don't do it. That's my best advice. I don't know who's playing, you guys. I do know, though, the Dallas Stars will have all of their players out there that can play tonight, and they are going to wipe the floor with the Nashville Predators, especially in the first period. That's how I'm feeling here, because we have seen Pete DeBoer say he's going to use his full roster available to him tonight. Look for this team that's lost their last 6 to need to get back into playoff form. The Dallas Stars shouldn't have gone this way down the stretch, and it's going to make it incredibly hard versus Colorado. With their lack of 60-minute play out there, the Colorado Avalanche will capitalize in that first round. So Dallas needs to get their feet back under them. They need to record this win. Look for the Dallas Stars in the first period to have the biggest push. First period puck line laying a half a goal is coming in at +152. If you want to get crazy and lay a goal and a half, I don't hate it, you guys. That's going to get you almost 5-1 to your money. Laying a goal and a half in the first period, but I do expect the Dallas Stars to have like a 3-1 3-0 first period here. I will take the Dallas Stars over 3.5 goals as well. That's coming in at -104. A new one in net, not Saros for the Predators. I'm going to stay out player props completely in that game. The Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. Give me Vancouver to get the win here. Give me Quinn Hughes for 0.77 tonight. He's got 16 goals and 60 assists on the season. But the big thing is his career numbers. His career goal number 60 is loading. So the anytime goal tonight, I do think comes into play. And the career point number 410. So look for Quinn Hughes, a nice big night to get us a goal and get that point on the board. Brock Besser, rumors are that he is leaving this team. He has 50 points on the season, 25 goals, 25 assists, 2+ points for Brock Besser tonight to come out nice and strong. Now, someone's playing for Vegas that's named Thomas Hertl. I will be taking Thomas Hertl props. If he's not playing, I'm not touching them. Well, of course, I'm not touching anyone on Vegas. The Edmonton Oilers versus the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks are nothing in this game for me, but I do think the total is very attractive. Give me both teams to score in the first period at +144. The over 6.5 at -108 for the game. Celebrini for 2+ points puts him at 65 points tonight. Eklund for a point puts him at 55. Toffoli for a point puts him at 55. Will Smith for a point puts him at 46, but I do like the goal. Will Smith for a goal puts him at 19 goals on the season. Could we see 2 out of him? I think we're going to see a lack of players out there for the Edmonton Oilers. Again, no confirmation on who's playing. One thing, if the Edmonton Oilers do get up first, they're 3-7 in their last 10 on that puck line. Look for the Sharks at that point, +1.5 on that puck line if you want. But I do think they're kind of worth a sprinkle here in their last home game to just get out a nice win against an Edmonton team that isn't playing very many players. I think if we really look at a lot of these underdogs on today's slate, except for the Predators. I tell you, if the Predators win, I will be so shocked. But the Dallas Stars have to come out in that first period. Maybe they don't play full 60, you guys. I do think the first period, second period is all about the Dallas Stars. But you guys, I appreciate you so much. Already bet Larkin. I love it. So Dylan Larkin for a good night tonight as well. Yeah, I think Hertl's sitting out. So Suzuki anytime. And so I like where you're going there, Vegas Vixen. I think it's a great way to go. I'm so glad you got Kyrou for those 2+ goals at +1100. Definitely a moneymaker out there on the ice. The Wild are dumb enough to sign him in the offseason. Maybe. Just maybe. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. I love being here with you every single morning. So thank you for joining me here for Pocket with Jo on SportsGrid TV, on X, as well as YouTube. If you guys can hit that like, hit that retweet button, I would so greatly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Eastern on the grid. And until then, stay hot. Let's make some freaking money out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hit so many